I shot him. Bullets in the fall killed him. Collateral is directed by Michael Mann, and I'm currently Vincent, Tom Cruise, from Collateral. Big thanks to the wife for helping me out with this costume. I loved it, but if you really want to take me seriously during this review, I probably shouldn't look like this the entire time, but I thought it would be so much fun to dress up like him just for a little bit. That being said, let's get started with Collateral. Ah, the wonders of temporary hair dye. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for watching that, guys. Don't worry, I'm not going to wear these throughout the entire review, but the suit is going to stay. Collateral is one of my all-time favorite movies, and if you guys are newer or haven't really seen one of these reviews for a while, from time to time I do have a segment entitled My Favorite Movies, in which I talk about my favorite movies. I'll never forget the first time I saw it. Unfortunately, it was at home. I didn't get a chance to see this one in theaters because I'm stupid and I didn't go for some dumb reason. I don't even remember what I was doing back then, but I did see it at home, and I remember this warm feeling overtaking my body, this feeling of suspense and tension, and I was so awestruck by Michael Mann's brilliant vision of LA nightlife, because at that time, I hadn't yet seen Heat. And I love me some Heat. But to this day, Collateral is my all-time favorite Michael Mann movie. This movie has such a great plot for a few different reasons that I'm about to get into. Tom Cruise plays Vincent. He's a hitman who gets in the cab driven by Jamie Foxx, who has dreams of starting his own limo company. And he forces Max, played by Jamie Foxx, to drive him to his various hits throughout one really shitty night for Max. Now, as I said, this plot works really well for a lot of different reasons. For one, Tom Cruise gets to play a villain. How rare is that, and how awesome is that? You could argue that maybe Tropic Thunder is one of the only other times this guy has played a true villain. Maybe Interview with a Vampire. For the most part, Tom Cruise is always the cool hero guy. It was so cool to just see him completely unplugged from all of that. Also, it's two different types of plots. You have a very contained movie in a cab. The dialogue between these two men gets very philosophical at times. They explore one another's lives, their past lives. You learn so much about them. Michael Mann even gave Tom Cruise a folder depicting photographs and locations of his childhood growing up so that Cruise could learn more about his character, and that's just how brilliant Michael Mann works. But you have what might be considered a contained thriller within this cab, very claustrophobic. But the other side of it is that when they get out into LA, in the nightclub scenes and back alleyways, abandoned streets in the middle of the night at 4 in the morning, it becomes this incredible open thriller in the city of LA. So you have two amazing thrillers bouncing back and forth with one another. You could look at this movie and say Collateral is an action movie, and you'd be right, but really it's a drama about these two characters. They're polar opposites, and then the things about them that are strikingly similar. And I'm not going to get into spoilers with this review just in case you haven't seen it, because I think this movie is one of the best action thrillers ever made. Now let's talk about why. Is it because of the way the action's filmed? Well, sure, the handheld scene in the nightclub is astoundingly brilliant. It's one of the best action scenes ever put to screen. For one, this soundtrack introduced me to Tom Rothrock. It introduced me to The Roots before I ever heard them on Jimmy Fallon. And I could talk about the cinematography in this movie for the rest of my life. It is the coolest I have ever seen LA at night. And I've been to LA many times at night, and it's never, ever looked as good as it does in Collateral. Mann utilized a lot of low-budget HD cameras for this movie, and it gives the movie this grainy crispness that I've never seen another film have. This performance by Tom Cruise is competing with just a few others as my favorite of his he's ever done. Of course, he brings a lot to the physical scenes, but he brings even more to these scenes in the cab with Jamie Foxx's character, where he's talking about his past life with his father, or the fact that he doesn't really have any plans for the future. He's just strolling through this strange life as a hitman, just going from job to job. And you start to imagine, what does this guy do in his downtime? What is he doing when he's not on a job? What is actually going on with this guy? He's a little crazy. And Jamie Foxx gives, in my opinion, still his best performance. You can argue about Ray forever. Ray is a great performance, but he is imitating someone who already existed. This is a wholly original performance, and I still think it's Jamie Foxx's best, and he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And his interplay with Cruise is just fantastic, and one of the things that's so good about it is you explore Max's character. He talks about wanting to start his own limo company, Island Limos, a cool groove experience. When you get to the airport, you're not going to want to get out of my limo. But as Vincent continues to ask him about this, you learn that he's been a cab driver for way, way too long, and so you start to learn more about his character, and you realize this is also kind of a broken man. And in the strangest way, these two guys who should hate one another have a sort of brotherly connection that starts to flow throughout the movie. And it's so well realized in the script and the direction and the performances. There's not another movie like Collateral in existence. Just the feel of it all. From the jazzy music, the suspense created wondering when Tom Cruise's character is just gonna snap and shoot somebody. And of course, I have to mention, your homie. Is that my briefcase? Yeah, why? You want it back? If you haven't seen Collateral, just wait for that scene. It's incredible. It's so great. Also extremely underrated in this movie is Mark Ruffalo. This is the first time I ever paid notice to this actor, and he certainly hasn't disappointed me since. He continues to be an incredibly underrated actor to this day. He plays a cop who's on the trail of this situation, and he might just be the only person who believes Max's story about what's going on. And because of that, you really start to get into this guy's life, and you wonder, what does he do on his downtime as well? All of these characters are so well fleshed out that you actually begin to think, like, what are these guys doing when they're not in this movie? And you're like, wait, this is just actors. Holy shit, like, this is excellent writing. Now, the credited writer on this screenplay is Stuart Beattie, who later wrote and directed I, Frankenstein. There was a rumor for a long time that Frank Darabont and Michael Mann both did an uncredited rewrite of this script. After seeing I, Frankenstein, I'm inclined to believe that rumor is true. So whoever wrote it, it's freaking great! I can actually give this movie my highest compliment that I can possibly give a movie. This movie inspired me to want to make movies. It was one of the movies I saw back in the day that made me want to make a movie that took place in the city at night. It made me inspired to go out in my city nearby my house and actually make a film. That's the highest praise I can give a movie. This movie reminded me why I want to make movies. And whenever I'm not feeling inspired, I can turn on Collateral and feel a rush of creativity. If you guys haven't seen it, I strongly suggest it. It is one of my all-time favorite movies, and Collateral absolutely gets an A+. Guys, I really appreciate you watching this, and I also want to let you know, a lot of people have asked me one specific question. Where do you get all your t-shirts? You know, where do you get all your posters? Where do you get all of this? There's a lot of different places, but there is one specific website that I do get a lot of my t-shirts from. I'm not wearing one of those t-shirts now, but that is jackthreads.com. However, they did actually furnish me with this suit. They were kind enough to give me this suit for my Collateral review, which was incredible of them. And I have to give a humongous thank you to jackthreads.com for doing that, because this was like awesome. I was like, I really want to do a Collateral review, and they actually let me get a suit that resembles Tom Cruise's in Collateral. So because of how awesome they were, and because you guys are always asking me where I get my t-shirts and things like that, if you go to jackthreads.com/Chris and use the promo code Chris, you can get 15% off anything. My gift to you guys through Jack Threads. They were so awesome to send me this suit. I also have a couple other t-shirts I'm going to be wearing in some other reviews soon. Maybe something with Bob Ross, the painter, on it. I just love Bob Ross. Just a happy little tree right there. Oh yes, make love to the tree. Oh, draw the tree, make love to the tree. It's so amazing. So if you guys do go to jackthreads.com/Chris and use the promo code Chris when you check out for anything you get in the store, you can get 15% off. Thank you so much to them for the suit. I really appreciate it, and I hope they liked the review, and I hope you guys dug the review, as well as my incredibly awesome gray hair and beard that I had earlier. So guys, thank you so much, as always, for watching, and if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.